For context, I'm 19 years old. I had no experience with creating content, no experience with nothing. I had like a local job that I absolutely hated. I started posting like brain rot, like Minecraft parkour clips on like TikTok 2 months
Yeah.
later. I actually crossed 30K.
How did that go? All right, everybody. So we're here with Melvin. Melvin is currently making about over what, $10,000 a month with your Faceless page. Is that right?
Yeah, I actually crossed 30K this month. I had to count before this interview just with a double check.
That's crazy. Yeah. So I remember we were talking back and forth, and you said you did $6,000 in one day, actually.
Yeah, yeah, it was
That's
wild.
yeah, that's absolutely insane. So let's take it back. I want to know your upbringing. So where are you located? What did you do before this? How did you get into it? I'd love to get the rundown.
So, for context, I'm 19 years old. I just graduated school before this summer.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and I had no experience with creating content, no experience with nothing. I had like a local job that I absolutely hated during the summer before my last year in school. And then I got like panicked out like completely because my grades were shit, and I started like using ChatGPT to like fool my teachers, to be honest. And hey, I mean, it worked. Like my grades went up, but still not enough to like go into university and stuff. And
Yeah.
to be honest, I'm not too big into like going into university, taking massive like student loans. Like I knew this wasn't for me at all. So
Hmm.
I like panicked out, started posting like some brain rot, like Minecraft parkour clips on like TikTok. Just like I had to do something. And what
Yeah.
I did, the plan with that was like some Minecraft gameplay talking about some AI tool and like an affiliate link in the bio, which weren't even like clickable. It was a horrible idea, but got me started with creating content, and yeah, just continued from there to kind of grow and get the ball rolling.
So what made you want to go faceless? What attracted you with faceless content?
So, to be completely honest, people might argue about this, but I think content can feel quite cringe until you're successful. I didn't want my friends to like look at me like making fun of me in front of the camera, so I just did the faceless thing. And I guess that's the main thing. Like I literally didn't even tell my parents like about me creating content. They thought, because I used to sit in this exact same spot and like play video games all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had to go faceless because I didn't want to show my face. That's the main thing. Right now, I don't care about it, but that's also because it's like it's proven like it's working. So now I can feel comfortable like showing
It's
my face.
it's
It's
funny, yeah,
easier now.
that's usually the way it is. So what were your parents thinking you were doing, and then how did they find out you're making a ton of money?
So like one of my friends told his parent, and that parent told my mom. It's super weird. And then it was like, "Hey Melvin," like my mom told me, like, "Hey Melvin, I heard you like started to make some money online. Like what are you doing?" Like,
Are you selling drugs?
yeah, like literally.
And then what,
Uh,
you just kind of told her and showed her?
Yeah, and they still don't understand. They see the like the Stripe notifications and like the PayPal. Like after me being on a sales call, I'm like showing the notification, super glad. But yeah, they don't.
Yeah, 100%. So you started off by just posting brain rot content, and then that kind of led you into the page you're currently running, or did you have a couple different failures between that?
So I started on TikTok, like I mentioned with that Minecraft thing,
Yeah.
got like 10 to 30 views. So that didn't work out at all. And from there, I saw some guy online had this like AI avatar, and I
Mhm.
noticed that was a trend over on Instagram at that point with these like monks
Yeah.
that had like motivational quotes and not whatnot. So I made my own and talked about different AI tools, and started posting on like Facebook, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and Instagram. And Instagram, in my first 10 posts over on Instagram, I actually got 1.5 million views. So I like scratched TikTok and just went all in on Instagram, and they got to like 10,000 followers quite quickly, but then that like plateau hit quite hard.
Yeah.
I had no clue like how do I even monetize, because I thought like, hey, as long as I get 1 million views, I will become a millionaire kind of thing. But I
Yeah.
realized like I didn't make a penny from those videos. So I realized like it's all about the how the content is converting, having a proper funnel,
Yep.
and uh, and also like with the interest of AI in the back end, like how I can automate as much as that as possible.
Yeah, 100%. So basically your second page, you finally started to see some success. Like you got millions of views. How did that go? Like you went from 30 views to getting millions of views. What was the process? Would you say like you're the most creative person out there, or how did you end up getting millions of views?
So I think it was just dumb luck, to be honest, because when you watch back, I'm sure you feel the same when watching your videos from 1 year ago, like they are horrible. But I actually did realize quite quickly, like the whole thing with marketing in general is just doing what works and like doing different takes on it. So I started to study because when you get 30 views, you start to measure yourself against the competition, see what's working, also put a bunch of blame on yourself, of course, but I saw that different videos performed better. So I thought like, hey, let me make some kind of similar version of that and tried like 10 different concepts in those first 10 videos. And from there, look at like that one video that popped off, just do more of that and do less of the one that performed horrible. And
Mm,
that's been like kind of my whole growth strategy in general. I think that applies to anything like with marketing. Like if you do 10 of something, you take the best one, or you look at all the 10, you look at the best one, the worst one, and then you just do more of the one that works and do less of the one that's flopped. So that's been the whole
exactly.
like strategy there.
It's pretty much like common sense. I feel
Yeah.
like so many people when really getting into this space, they think like, "Oh, I need to be some like creative or marketing genius." And they think that they need to, not do what everybody else is doing. But funny enough, it's kind of the opposite. You want to jump into a saturated market. Like you said, you found a page that was doing like this AI avatar style content, and then you were like, "Okay, let me copy what they're doing." And then you found content to essentially mimic and copy just to get your page going, right? So a
Yeah.
lot of people think it's the opposite, whereas you need to find a competitor that's winning. You need to jump into a saturated market, and then that way you know that it's not if it works, it's when it works. So after a couple posts, you started getting millions of views. When did you actually start making money, and how long did it take you to get to that 10K a month mark?
So I started my page 1 year ago while still being in school, I should say. So
Hmm.
the like
High
the phone,
school?
it's different here in Sweden, but
Huh.
yeah, I guess it's the equivalent of high school. But so what was your question? I forgot.
My question was, how long did it take you to start making money, and then how long did it take you to make 10K a month?
Yeah, so actually, after those 1.5 million views, I didn't make a penny from those. I had some guy, like in my link in bio, I had like a donation because I didn't know how to
Yeah,
monetize. So some
you're like
friendly,
you're like
some
somebody
friendly.
just fucking pay me some money, like I need
Yeah,
my
yeah,
bills.
yeah, exactly. And I still remember his name was like Daniel, like $3 or something, but that like changed the whole game for me. Like those $3 are like were life changing
Yeah,
because
were
when
those your first dollars that you've ever made online?
yeah, it was like a $3 donation. I'm not
Uh,
even joking. And because when starting out, like you never truly know for a fact, like if something will work or not.
hmm.
But like, how do you say it? Like the mindset like shifts completely when you get your first like pay, like outcome in
Yeah,
return. So it can be views, and those views were a good return. But then like when you realize like I'm here to make some bucks, obviously. So when you get that first paycheck, that changed everything. Uh, and then from there, I started posting more. I started scouting what other creators are doing. How the hell do they make so much money? Because I
yeah,
also thought that surely every creator that has 10,000 followers are making like 20K a month. But I
yeah.
realized that wasn't true
It's
neither.
not true. It's not
Yeah.
true. Yeah, basically, you started developing and creating like this competitor list. You started funnel hacking everybody. You started seeing if they're revealing how much they're making and basically going through their funnel, right? That's what a lot of people don't understand as well is the importance of having that competitor list. So I'm assuming you found a couple pages that you had a pretty good idea was making good money, right? Is that what you did? And then you started building out kind of a funnel for yourself or a product for yourself?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I realized like Firstly, I understood like the different monetization methods, so like affiliate marketing, brand deals, digital products, coaching, all of that stuff. And from there, I landed my first couple brand deals.
Got it.
And
You did brand deals. So how much did you charge and how many followers did you have?
I don't remember exactly, but I had like surely 10,000 followers or something. I could
Hmm.
have monetized way sooner
Yeah.
because that's just how it is. But and then from there, some guy reached out in the DMs, like you probably get it as well, like hundreds of growth operators and different stuff.
Yeah.
So I had some guy and I like resold his digital product, like affiliate marketing
Yeah.
basically for his digital product and some brand deals, made like a couple $100 from that. Started like charging more and more for the brand deals. Realized like I got completely robbed on the first couple of videos
Yep.
because it was like $30 or something.
Yeah.
So I realized like I got completely robbed. Basically, just the hustle from there. Like I continued to grind like during that whole half a year or so. Got up to like still only making like 1K to be honest, which is quite bad. Like looking
Yeah.
back on it, and I've obviously like during that process I learned a lot, and I started to launch my first digital product, and that flopped completely too. A bunch of failures, but I also feel like the failures is what you learn from. So I wasn't too mad about that. But then at one point, like I realized that it's at that time it was like 3 or 4 months until like I'm done with school, and I realized like
Yeah.
that's the big deadline. I'm screwed. I don't have any grades. Like so, I had to do something. So I'd saved up some, and at that time I made like 1K a month or so. I just like spent all that money on buying a new computer because when starting out, I actually, funnily enough, I started on my like school computer, so I didn't have like anything to spend. But I bought my computer, and then a month after, I had made my like 1K in budget, and I was like, I'm so screwed if I don't do anything here,
Yeah.
because I can't like live over 1K. So I took all that money, invested it in my first mentor, and from there it just took off like 3K, 5K, 8K, plateaued at there, and now like a few months
Yeah.
later I'm at like
And
$13K.
what were the main things that you've learned that skyrocketed your income?
But it's just like when you have experience in the space, you realize like, hey, this is the thing that generates me the most amount of money
Mm,
most of the time, because there's so many different ways you can monetize, and people will shout
yeah.
in your DMs and like, do I go this route or this route? What I did is like just look at the numbers, like, hey, this is the number one thing that just brings me the most amount of revenue, and just double down on that. So yeah, I guess that's the main thing.
Yeah. Yeah, what's interesting is like there are so many people out there like beginners that are making a couple $1,000s and you look at their bio and you look at what they're selling and they're selling like a bunch of different things. They're trying to do promotions with brand deals and they're doing like 10 different things at once. Whereas if you just look at what's generating you the most revenue and only have that as like the main call to action, then you're way better off even as far as your time goes too, because you don't have to like for sponsors you need like contracts or you need to make them happy. For affiliate deals, like you only get like a certain percentage of revenue. Like there's so many different ways to monetize, and as long as you split test and see what works best for your page and you just double down on it, like you just said, you're way better off. And people don't understand that, and people want like the best path or sorry, people want to offer so many different things at once and it makes no sense. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like the main thing you realize with that mentor, I'm assuming.
Yeah, exactly. And also, like, when you get something to work, just do it on a like, for example, the brand deals was the number one thing that like got me a majority of the revenue at that time. I
Hmm.
realized that wouldn't last like long term, but at the time that was the main vehicle for me. And I realized, hey, why am I doing these like one-off deals, like $200, $300 a
Yeah.
video, and never hear from the company again? So
Yeah.
I basically became quite good at negotiating both, so I got paid way higher because my average views went up and whatnot, but also to get those companies on like a good retainer.
Yeah. It's about like if you are doing sponsorship posts, it's about securing like monthly retainers. like, hey, I'm gonna get you X amount of videos per month. Let's do it on like a 3 month deal. And then on top of that, you can make sure you get affiliate commissions and stuff like that. So, I mean, we do that with some pages, and we're making like, ten to $20,000 a month just from one company, which is insane, right? And like the page isn't even that big. It's not like a page with millions of followers. So yeah, just
Yeah.
one deal after split testing, or one offer after split testing a bunch of things, can get you to like that 10K a month mark. So what did you do from making a couple $1,000s a month with like sponsorships and affiliate products to, making 10K plus a month?
The big thing is like when you get more views, you can charge more for everything. So I
Mhm.
guess like the overall answer is just charging more. And you obviously have to, like, if you have
Yeah.
digital products, you improve the products, because when starting out, I recommend everyone for the first digital product to be a low ticket, because you will learn so much from that first product and
Mhm.
continue to build. So it was like going from a low ticket product, improving that, just to ensure like I would have personally bought it for like 10 times the amount, so it would be a no-brainer price. And then basically focusing more on the high ticket stuff, because the high ticket stuff, in my opinion, is where, like, that's where the revenue is. So
Yeah.
yeah, and charging more. And then I also realized like all these, like, hey, all these companies that I'm doing like brand deals with, they are most likely like AI companies, and they are startups
Mhm.
from 1 year ago. So they don't even have a social media presence. Like,
Yeah.
I'm good at social media marketing. I can run their page, and
Right.
that's like a high ticket price point right there that I could like implement as well.
And what does that look like? Like, how much would you get paid for something like that?
Yeah, for example, one company right now pays me 6K a month for running their page.
And how much
Uh,
work is that, would you say?
like, to be honest, it was scary. Like, it is not much at all, because I've all that those skills and all those failures from the past and trying to automate things. I've learned so much from that. So what I did with that company, and I'm sorry for them if they are listening to this, but like I built out an AI like script writer for it, trained it, so I could basically ask it like, hey, make me. We agreed on like 20 videos a month, so I basically developed that AI, trained it a little bit, and asked it to make 20 video scripts, sent that over to the company. They approved it. I had, since everything I'm doing is faceless, I had like an avatar, made that for them, pressed two buttons, the videos are recorded. Some guy hired some editor, and then from there, just me like hitting the post
Yeah.
for them.
I mean, even though it doesn't take a lot of time, you're getting paid for results and your skill set, right? And so
Yeah.
that's how people are able to make a lot of money, by building leverage. So since you have all this experience, you're now qualified to do something like this, pay a ton of money for it, and you probably only spend like a couple hours a week on it, which is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you do as like a 19-year-old making 10K a month? I'm assuming you're still living with your parents. Like, what do you do?
So, like, I want to give you like a fancy answer that I'm traveling the world and whatnot, but to be honest, I'm in like the hustle mode right now. Like, I wake up, I go to the gym every single day, work, and that's kind of it. But it's also because I love what I'm doing, and that's like the big shift in general with having that local job that I absolutely hated to now. Like,
Yeah.
I want to work. I love to work because I get paid for it. I love what I'm doing. I'm providing value. It's so fulfilling in general.
Did you ever
Um,
think that you had it in you?
I had to have it in me. Like, the benefit, or like when you have that deadline, like me, I had no future if I wouldn't make this work, and that's like the ultimate scarcity. Like, if I didn't make it to work, I would have to grab the like local 9 to 5, getting paid minimum wage. So, and I couldn't stand that, so I had to make this work. And I feel like in general, every creator, and I might be wrong, but I'm only 19. But in general, I feel like most of the creators that are big and that are grinding, they started with some kind of setback or pain, like from something. For me, it was like, hey, I can't stand this normal job. I need to make this work. For someone else, it might be something completely different. But I feel like that's the main motivator.
Yeah.
And I also had the belief that if you do give something, like we've all heard, like just as long as you tried your best. But I feel like if you actually tried your best and never quit, you cannot fail. That's
Yeah.
my like number one principle with my students as well. Like I have yet to see a single creator who continues to put in the effort, the actual effort, and never give up. Like it's impossible to fail. And surely the timeline would differ. Someone would blow up right away, but most of the time, when we see those like overnight successes, it all comes down to like compounded work in the past. Like
Yeah.
someone has run a social media page that flopped for years, and then the next page is started. Looks like they went viral in the first post, but we don't see all of this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's like all growth happens at once. You keep pulling levers every single day and you keep grinding every single day, and then one day something hits and then you're like this overnight success.
yeah,
It's insane. So what by the way, what job were you working before?
so it's just a local store.
Like a clerk? You were just a clerk or you were stocking shelves?
Yeah, I was just like lifting boxes kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it's called in English, but yeah, it's basically like where you buy different tools and like hammers and stuff like that.
Oh, like a department store.
Yeah, yeah,
Like a Home
exactly.
Depot.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So let's see. What do you have planned for the next year? Now that you're pretty successful, you're making good money. What's your plan for the next 12 months? And how are you gonna get there?
That's just something I thought a lot about like recently, because at some point I feel like it's time for me to spend some more money and not just like pile it up. Few goals I have is to like get bigger into investing, because in my opinion, like how you build true wealth is you make a lot of money and then you pile that up and like have some kind, like whether it's crypto or some other like stock thing, to try and multiply that to basically have like a safer future.
Yeah.
But as for me, I will like aim to move out. Like this is still my parents' house, but I'll move out, probably buy some nice car or something.
What kind of car do you want?
I'm in the mix of things, but I'm thinking like a BMW or an Audi. Yeah, I haven't decided, but that's like. But my ultimate goal is to have like a what's it called, like a Porsche
Nice.
911. But we will see. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll get it next year, but yeah, definitely, spending your money on education, learning, mentorships is the way to
Yeah.
go. That's just like how you expedite. And then also spending your money on failures within your businesses and iterations. How do you iterate faster? Well, you just hire people so that you can have more time leverage for yourself. All right, so Melvin, appreciate you coming on board. If anybody wants to reach out to Melvin for questions or help or anything, I'll leave his Instagram right down below. And that's going to be the Faceless Instagram where you're
Yep.
making over 10K a month. Yeah, so guys, this is completely real. Melvin, the GOAT, I appreciate you for being on here and basically exposing everything and telling your story. And yeah, hopefully we'll do a part 2 where you're making 100K a month sometime next year.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you having me on.
All right, bet. Take it easy, bro.